Hey, I hope you're doing well. Welcome, Hyatt Zilara fans. Today we are going to talk about the brand new Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya Resort. I was just there over Christmas, actually, and really enjoyed it. But I know it's still a brand new resort. It only opened December 1st. And so today I am going to answer hopefully, all of your questions. So if you are joining us, please do comment and add any questions that you have below, and I will do my best to answer them. And if anybody can let me know how the sound is thus far, that would be great. And we do have a whole bunch of questions coming on here. So really looking forward to going through these. It's a brand new resort. It's 291 rooms, and it is adult only, all inclusive. So really something for everybody. 291 rooms. They have butler service in I believe it's all but 3 of the room categories. So you really can't go wrong with that. I'm just going to pull up my fact sheet on that while we wait for a few people to join. And all right. I haven't heard back on the sound, so I assume you can hear me okay. And also, before we go too far, be sure to like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video and if you find this or any of my other videos useful, because I'd love to help you out. Okay. Audio is good. Had to wait for the ads. Yes. Please always watch the ads. It's how us creators make a little bit of money on these grand endeavors that we do. So let's get into it. Thank you, John Barzo, for all of the questions. I came into my recording studio this morning, and by recording studio, I mean an online web page platform. And I saw that John had left about, I don't know, 15 questions. So let's take a look and let's go ahead and get into this. So John says, is there a drink limit for the swings? No, there isn't. You can sit there and drink all day long if you like. Pro tip, if it is a rainy day and you are looking for somewhere to sit and have a drink and enjoy the view, the swing bar at Lola's, actually I don't have a photo of that, but I should have taken a picture of it other than this one. I will show you. This was a sad day. Yeah, that's at Lola's. That's a swing bar. So I'm sitting there on a swing in my jersey or my sweatshirt because it was flipping cold. This was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, I forget which. Rained all day long. That is about as colorful as the sky got. So yeah, not very cool to be walking around in your sweatshirt and just having drinks. But there you go. You do what you do and what you can when you're in paradise, and it is what it is. Okay. Okay, Hattie, I see your questions and I will get to you. I'm going to try to do these in order. Otherwise, I'm just going to get completely confused on them. Okay, so no, there's no drink limit on the swings. Unless you fall off, then you might be cut off. That's for sure. Okay, room service. Will they deliver beer to the tropical swim outs? Yes, they will. Would they deliver it more than 60 times a day? I don't believe, no, that might be over the limit, possibly. But definitely, yes, as long as it's easy for them to access. So generally speaking, I would say that is going to be on the west side, so closest to the beach. So if you go into your swim out pool, which again, those are shared by only 10 units, so they're pretty private. That's the tropical, sorry, no, actually, no, hold on a second. Tropical View swim outs do not have drink service, but you can get room service. It just means you have to go to your door in order to receive the product. If you are on the resort side, so Resort View, again, those also share only with 10 units. And both of those pools are heated. They're heated with solar power. I know some people have said that they were chilly. It's all kind of relative. My husband likes the water to be quite on the colder side and refreshing, he says. I prefer it a little bit more comfortable. And I mean, not quite bath water, but I mean, you know. nice enough that if you get in, once you get in, it's not like freezing you. And also for the oceanfront rooms and the plunge pool rooms, yeah, I believe. I mean, it's all going to depend how busy it is and whatnot, but yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't deliver drinks to those pool areas as well. Okay, what meal dish is a must try, John? I mean, that's a tough question. I think my favorite was, I mean, the sushi, the sashimi. Wow. I mean, it was melt in your mouth, top quality, really delicious. Um, but I think my favorite meal was the steak at Lola Beach. So this was in the evening for their supper menu, and it was called beef in red sauce. And it was actually, let me see if I've got a photo I can show you. It was a beef fillet, and it was supposed to be 2 5-ounce fillets. I'm not a huge portion person. So for me, I just asked if they could do half, which they did, which was brilliant. And yeah, here we go. I'm going to share this with you. Is this right? No, this is the wrong one. I tried to pre-do a bunch of these so that they would be ready for you, but alas, I wasn't able to get them all done ahead of time. Where is the steak? Yeah, this must be it. Okay, so if I can find it again, I will send this over. Okay, so we'll get that sorted. So yeah, it was basically a fillet. I don't like mine to be rare per se. I want it to be medium to medium rare is okay. And I mean, it was absolutely fabulous. I actually thought, I was concerned that it was not quite cooked enough, and then it turned out that it was actually cooked perfectly. So there you go. Let me just see if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay, I want to show you the steak. Thanks for bearing with me while I go through this. Okay, so I don't recall if that was exactly the steak at Lola Beach. I did have steak 2 times, but I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. Dean, help me out if you think that was the correct steak or not. And let's see here. Okay, moving on. Okay. How much for the butler service? Well, if you are in one of those top category rooms, and again, that would be the rooms, any of the higher end rooms. So let me just pull that up. Riviera Maya. Okay, so rooms with butler service start at the oceanfront junior suite, king or double. And then the 1-bedroom master suites, oceanfront, anything oceanfront is includes butler service. So the ones that don't are actually, there's the basic room, the king or double, the tropical view king or double, the ocean view king, ocean view junior suite king. For those of you who have asked, if you've booked into what they were initially calling the rooftop ocean view kings, those are the ones that are on the 4th floor, and they have a significantly larger balcony area. So in the main building, so you're looking out over the resort, so you've got that beautiful pool view, which is really beautifully lit at night. And also sometimes they have entertainment at night outside. They didn't really do that when we were there because it was cold and raining, so nobody wanted to be out there. But you would also have that view of the ocean in the background. And then the only other one is the tropical and resort view swim up suites. Those do not have butler service, but everything else does. So a good variety there. And if you are in a tropical swim out suite and you want to have butler service, then you can have the butler arrange for extra beers for you. I believe it was $50 a day. I'm not sure. And as with any new resort, when the new resorts open, often the prices that they post will change. I mean, when I was there, the cabanas varied in price. I think the lowest was 119, but that included a bottle of booze. And they also had a promotion on during Christmas. Well, such as it was, nobody was booking cabanas on the rainy days, but the first sunny day, I'd say half of the cabanas were booked. And they had a promotion on where if you bought a bottle of booze that was $60 or more, then you got the cabana for free. So if you were wanting to have a nice bottle of champagne or something like that, you wanted to treat yourself, then the benefit of that is you would get the free cabana. So again, those prices are continually changing. So do watch for that. And I will add that, pro tip, if you're going to a brand new resort, especially the Hyatts, what I have found is historically with the Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana, with the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun. They usually include certain things that will have a cost down the line. They're usually free at the beginning so that you can try them out and get a sense of what they're like. So the first week we were there at Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana, I mean, we were using the cabanas every day, as were a lot of other people, because it was no charge. So why not, right? I love having that extra space to yourself. It's quite nice. Okay, describe the entertainment and what times. There's activities going on all throughout the day. In the evening at 7 p.m. every night, there was something that was going on in the lobby. They had a live pianist one night, a violinist, somebody playing guitar, singing along. They also had dancing. That was about 3 or 4 nights in a row. And the dancing I thought was great because they have this team of entertainers that come out, and they start out and they were doing a group dance, and then they broke off and they did a couple of duet dances. And the one night we even saw, it was almost a ballet doing the Nutcracker. And there are short segments, so 2 or 3 minutes. But the lobby bar called the Social, this is where you're going to find all of the amazing cocktails. I don't think I kept a copy of that. No, I didn't. But they are bespoke cocktails. They do have some that are pre-designed. Um, um, that you can order off the menu. But like, for example, I just wanted to try something different. I didn't really fancy any of the ones that were listed on the menu. So Miss Ale is the head mixologist at the property. And I just said, look, can you make me something with vodka, pineapple, and that's smoked? And so he crafted something out for me. So it was absolutely delicious. I do have a whole series of videos on this property. I think we're up to probably 15 videos by now. So do tune into those to see more detail on these items. And Dean's adding that the veal ossobuco at the Capri Grill was really good. I didn't try that, but I mean, I don't even think he needed a knife to cut it. It was so tender. Okay, so let's go back to questions. Where are we at? The entertainment. Oh, and I will say as well, in the evening, so they at 7 o'clock they would do this show, and it lasted for about 15-20 minutes. Again, in the lobby, normally in the evenings at any resort, I see people drinking wine. Well, that's me. And a lot of the guys are drinking beer. And at this resort, it was cocktail after cocktail after cocktail. I mean, everyone was really enjoying all these mixed cocktails, the smoked drinks. That's a huge thing at this property. I believe they use apple wood is how they smoke the wood, and the type of wood that they use. And they also did a lot of toasted rosemary drinks, which I'm not a rosemary fan, but in the drinks, it actually tasted really good and added just a ton of flavor. By the way, if you are booked to stay at this resort, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've seen any of my other videos and if those inspired you to stay here, I'd love to know that as well. Just try to help out. Oh, and where's my other one? Just to clarify, because I get asked this all the time, Oh, well, I'll get rid of that. Get rid of the question. Thanks for watching. No, I don't work for Hyatt. Everybody always asks this. I do not work for them. I did not get a free stay. I did not get paid to do these videos. I simply really enjoy their product. And you know what? I just want to answer your questions and help out. So that's what that's all about. Do they try to sell the timeshares? No, not at all. Hyatt, Ziva, and Zilara resorts, they do not have timeshare. There are some historical. So this used to be 𝖃𝗏𝖾, if you recall, back in the days. That's part of AM Resorts resort chain, and they do have timeshare, or they call it a vacation club. Whatever. So they do have to honor that to a certain extent, but there's nobody there who is trying to sell you or give you some amazing offer if you go and spend just 2 hours, also known as at least half the day, listening to a presentation and a very emotional and hard sell presentation. So no, they do not have any timeshare here. So that's great. Best cocktails. You know what? The best one I have to say was my husband likes spicy drinks and spicy anything. And so he asked for a spicy jalapeno margarita, and it was smoked, and hands down, it was the best drink I had the whole trip. So that was at the lobby bar. Smoked spicy jalapeno margarita. It was on ice, and they used a jalapeno reduction, and it just imparted a lovely flavor into it. Okay, tipping. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people say, should you tip in pesos or American dollars? Hands down, I will tell you, pesos is the way to go. It's the same in any foreign country. It's best if you can tip in the local currency. Some people will say, but they say they get a better exchange rate. Well, here's the thing. I think it's like 67% of Mexicans do not have a bank account. An even greater percentage of them do not have a passport. If you don't have a bank account, you can't go to the bank and exchange money. If you don't have a passport, you can't go to a cambio and exchange your money. So where are they exchanging this? Yes, they can go into the shops, but just as anyone who lives on a US border knows, if I go across into Bellingham or Blaine or even down to Seattle from Vancouver and I try to use Canadian dollars, I'm going to get a really bad exchange rate. Yes, they'll take it sometimes, most of the time, but the exchange rate's not going to be good, and same vice versa. And so the same goes for pesos versus American when you're handing that to the staff. So always tip in pesos if you can. A fun tip that I learned from Diane and Ray. I don't know if you're watching. If you are, hi guys, how are you? I met them at the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun, in 2021 when it first opened, and ran into them at the Hyatt Zilara while we were there. And Ray, what he used to do is he would tip first thing in the morning. So when he would sit down at his lounge chair, he knew he was going to be there all day long, in the pool, out of the pool, that kind of thing. But that was his spot for the day. And so he would tip the equivalent of about, I think it's $20, $10 or $20 for the day to cover off on drink tips. And then instead of doing like ones or twos or 20 pesos every time, he was able to just take care of it in one shot. So you're not always constantly looking for small bills, because that could be a bit of a challenge and a pain. On arrival at the airport, what's the best way to avoid the salespeople to get outside and find your transfer? So for example, he's talking about the WestJet rep. Okay. At the airport, as soon as you get your bag, you're going to enter the next section. And I basically say, it doesn't matter. These people will be aggressive. They will come up to you and say, look, hey, show me your piece of paper. I need to see your transfer. What's your confirmation? Which company are you with? And they're not really asking, they're sort of demanding. So basically, I just walk through and play stupid. Well, I like to do it to get a temperature of what they're actually doing. Sometimes they just cannot be bothered. I don't know if that's certain flights or certain terminals or what, but for the most part, they are looking to get some timeshare sales happening because that's basically all that it circles back to. And they get paid based on how many people they refer for presentations. So they'll say, well, we can give you a free upgraded transportation to your resort. We can give you a free tour. We can give you some cash, whatever. And all that they're doing is looking for you to go to a presentation. So from the moment you get your bag to the moment you're outside, anybody you encounter in between them, just ignore them. If it is something critical, I mean, if it's security, okay, stop, right? But if it's not security or customs border agency people, then just carry on and ignore them. Just pretend you don't understand what they're saying and carry on through and until you're outside. Once you're outside, you're back into the safe land where you're going to see all of the different reps. I have frequently struggled to find my transfer company. I tend to use Canada Transfers. They are also known as USA Transfers. They're inexpensive, they're reliable, most importantly. They have good drivers. I feel safe in the vehicle. And as I said, really reasonably priced and good service. You can pre-order drinks for the ride too, which is a fun bonus. If I can't find the rep, I will go up to any of the shuttle companies and say, hi, do you know where USA Transfers is? Or do you know where Canada Transfers is? If you're going on Amstar, hey, do you know where the Amstar people are? They always know where everybody is in that open air section because it's quite extensive and quite large, and they will always point them out to you. So don't ever hesitate to approach one of the other transfer companies. They will always be helpful to you. Well, I shouldn't say always. I mean, in my experience, they've always been helpful. Okay, totally not a question about Hyatt, but airports have premium lounges. Yes, Cancun Airport does. When we flew there, we flew on WestJet. I haven't flown anybody but WestJet in the last probably 9 trips. And WestJet flies into Terminal 3, I believe it is, the new terminal in Cancun. And yes, they do have a lounge that you can attend. I believe it was $30 American to go in. They have a full spread of food as well as alcohol. So it's a nice way to complete your trip before you sadly head back home. Okay, and John was asking if the resort had Drambuie. I didn't see any. Dean looked as well, and I think a few others at the resort did look, and they couldn't find any. So if you need to go to the liquor store, here's the thing. With this property, with the Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, you come a long way from the highway into the resort. It's probably a good 1.5 kilometers, a mile from the highway. You can't, I mean, I guess you could walk it, but you're walking through mangroves. A, you're going to get mosquito bites like crazy, and B, crocodiles. So no, just take a taxi. You can take an Uber into the resort, but you cannot take an Uber from the resort. They cannot enter private property unless they are delivering you. So if you go into Playa del Carmen, you can take an Uber back to the property, but in order to leave, you would have to take a taxi. And a taxi is going to cost you about $25-30. Playa del Carmen is lovely. It's a beautiful place to go and visit. There's lots of great restaurants, lots of fun bars. It's brilliant for people watching, and they've installed a bunch of new benches. So you can just sit there and drink a beer and enjoy people watching. There's lots of coffee shops along the way and lots of ice cream shops. But the ice cream at the resort, the gelato, oh my God, it was so good. Chocolate, just plain old chocolate, highly recommend. But they do have a bunch of different flavors, everything from mango to pistachio. So definitely try those. So yeah, that answers that one. Now on to Hattie. And again, if you have any questions or if you are booked for this property, please add your questions below. Dean is saying it was $32 for the lounge. He didn't see any Drambuie. Brad, I see your question. I will get to that in a moment. Hattie is saying, curious if they have those seltzers at the bars, or do they only stock rooms with them? It looks like they have Corona Light as well. Okay, so the beers that they have at the property currently are Modelo Negro. There was a Pacifico Suave, I believe it was, like a light Pacifico. And they did have Corona. And I heard one of the bartenders say that they'd gotten some promotional deal on it, and that was why they had Corona. So we may see that this changes as time goes on. They did have different products at the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun. So I think it's just going to depend on suppliers and what they have available. The seltzers were in the room. However, we also saw them at the food display, and I've got a little video to share with you on that. So I'll just go ahead and run this now. It's just a vertical, but nonetheless, there you go. So this was one of the food displays that they did during lunch one day. That was different kinds of chicken. There's some different beers that they had. And that's on the right there. That orange one was one of the seltzers, hard seltzer, low calorie, and there's soda. So again, very light. And then they had tacos, pork, chicken, beef. The churro station, look, I'm just going to say right up front, you want to avoid this until your last day, because otherwise you will be snacking on these suckers every single day. They came with either chocolate sauce or caramel sauce, or you could just eat them as is. My mouth is watering as I speak. They were absolutely so tasty. And then this was one of the more popular things, paella. They had that basically every day that we were there. Now, I don't know if that was a special thing because it was Christmas week, or if that's just standard for them. But the paella, I mean, the rice was delicious. And if you like seafood, then that's definitely something to check out. Okay, Hattie is also saying, so on the lobby bar has some drinks for pay. Yes. Only make it known when ordering your drink is extra. Could you order one of those paid drinks but substitute a different liquor? You know what? First off, yes, right on the menu, it clearly states that there were some drinks that had a premium to them. And I think it was because they were using some fancy alcohol. So it's very clear. On the menu, they had about, I would say, 10 different drinks. And of those, I think 3 of them had a surcharge. And they're very clear about it up front, because they need to know your room number in order to charge you for those drinks. If you wanted a premium alcohol, again, they made it very clear up front which ones had an extra charge. For example, if you go to the sushi restaurant, sushi and teppanyaki are the only ones where you have to make an advance reservation. However, one of the things that I do love is that they're not draconian about their dress codes. Men do have to wear a collared shirt. You are allowed to wear dress sandals, or you can wear closed-toed shoes. But other than that, and dress shorts, of course, or golf shorts is fine. So it's a much more relaxed dress code than at most other all-inclusive resorts, where they require men to wear long pants, even if it's an outdoor restaurant with no air conditioning, where it's going to be 28 degrees while you're eating your hot dinner. So yeah. So going back to the sushi place, if you're going to the sushi restaurant and you're having sashimi and you think you want to have some sake with that, there is an extra surcharge for sake. However, I was able to, thank you, Daniel, see a list of all of the different liquors and which ones had a surcharge and which ones didn't. And it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Tito's and Grey Goose vodka are included, no problem. Some of the rums they had, the Havana Club Anejo was included, but the Flor de Cana, which is I believe, Nicaraguan or Dominican? Nicaraguan, that was an extra charge, as was their Barbados Mount Gay rum. So I think it, again, just comes down to the suppliers. So again, take all of this with a grain of salt, because things may change as they go. But if you're like tequila, like the Don Julio Anejo was included. So, you just got to kind of go through and see what you like and what um, which may have an extra charge and which doesn't. One review mentioning they had sunscreen as well as toothbrush, toothpaste in the rooms. Did I see this? Yeah, they definitely had a toothbrush, toothpaste, shaving cream, um, body lotion, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, separated, not that stupid blend stuff, which doesn't do anything for your hair, especially if you have fine hair like me. Um, Although I would say, if you do have fine hair like me, the chlorine in any swimming pool in Mexico or in anywhere in the world can be very harsh on your hair. So get some of that L'Oreal Wonder Water. You can buy it on Amazon. I'll have a link to it in the description. It's amazing. Put it on your hair. 10 seconds later, rinse it out. Good to go. I don't recall seeing sunscreen. Dean, if you're still on here, did you? I didn't see any at all that I recall. Doesn't mean that it isn't something. Look, at a new resort, it's funny, one of the things that's interesting is it's just like going to somebody's new home after they've just moved in. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to unpack all the boxes. And yes, some people say, well, they should be fully operational and working at 100% capacity and all this kind of stuff when they first open, but they have introductory opening rates for a reason. And I think part of the uh, of what it enamors me is seeing the evolution of it as they add different things. So when I was there, which was December 23rd to the 28th, they didn't have sunscreen that I saw, but maybe they do now. Maybe they found that box and started unpacking it. Okay, Brad is asking how close are the cenotes and ruins to tour. He'll be there February 9th. Fabulous. That's just a month away. Nice. Okay, so apparently, I didn't know this. This is one of the FOMO things that I hate. One of the reasons I do these videos is because I get serious FOMO, like fear of missing out. I don't want to be that person that comes back after being on vacation and my friends say, "Oh, you went to that resort. Oh, did you go to the cenote that was on the property?" And I'm like, "What? What cenote?" Apparently, there's a cenote on the property. I didn't know. You can walk to it. I'm guessing it's near the spa. Um, One of the people in one of the Facebook groups commented and said that the guys at the front, the bell guys, I guess it was a slow day, so they actually walked them to the cenote. So I'm not sure. I would suggest asking the activities people, Carla, Millie, or Lalo, see if they know where it is. Alternatively, the closest ruins would be Tulum. And in Tulum, there's no cenotes that you would do on that particular tour, but you can swim in the ocean. And the ocean in Tulum is a beautiful blue that you also see in Cancun. So that's definitely worth checking out. Otherwise, there's Coba, that's a little bit farther away, but there are cenotes on the way to Coba, and Coba is one of the few that you can still climb. Uh, you might have a minor panic attack when you get to the top because it's quite steep on the way down. I came down like an old granny, holding onto the rope and like literally bum seat, bum seat, bum seat to the next step. Whatever. But I'm here alive to this day because I did that. Now, the tour guys, they were running down the pyramid, like whatever. And of course, Chichen Itza, I mean, one of the wonders of the world. You've got to see that. But that's quite a bit the other way. They do have a new highway in between. There's a toll highway, but it means to say you can do it you can do it in a day, and it's not quite as onerous of a journey as it used to be. Hattie is asking, do they have tablets like Hyatt Zilara Rose Hall? Or do you order room service via the phone? And do they have room service boxes, a secrets thing? You'd be there in early March. Oh, fabulous. They do not have the tablets yet. Again, I think that's one of the things they haven't unpacked yet. Brand new resort. But you can definitely order a room service via the phone. And in which video was it? The oceanfront swim up suite video. As I was walking through the suite, I turned to the TV and they had extensive room service menu on there, so you can see a little bit of what is included, but really good options, and a pretty extensive selection of items to see. So yeah, I think the tablets are coming. They just haven't got them sorted yet. They don't have the secret boxes here. So what those are is, and they did have them at, where is it? Hyatt Zilara Cancun. They have these where basically they can, if you have do not disturb on your room, what they can do is they have a little, a box area, like a cubby hole right beside your front door. They can open it from the outside, put your food, or like another, what I did one time is I wanted to order an ergonomic pillow. And so they delivered it. I was showering, so I had the do not disturb on as I was getting ready for dinner. And then they turn a little light switch on so you know it's been delivered. And then you open it from your side without going into the outside area, outside of your room at all. So there's a dual door on it, just like I said, a little cupboard. You can open it up and grab your stuff. So unfortunately, no, at this property, they don't have that. But honestly, like I didn't even order room service. It's, yeah, it wasn't my thing. Dean says he didn't see sunscreen either. So yeah, again, maybe that's a new thing. Heidi's asking about the wristband door key. Loved it in Jamaica. Hoping they have it here. I'm wearing it. Yes. So these cost, what was it? $15 American. And on this, you can see this little square thing here. That is what is used to unlock your door. Now, they also have room keys, just like any normal resort. But if you don't carry all of your credit cards and everything on your phone with you at all times, the wristband was a really great way to go, especially if you are in a swim up suite, or especially the plunge pool. If you hop out of the plunge pool, you go to the bar to get a drink because you just don't feel like waiting, or you want to get it yourself, and then you want to come back in through the inside. You have your key is on you at all times. Pro tip: the wristbands that they, do I have it up here? No, I don't have it up here. The wristbands that they had at the Hyatt Ziva Los Cabos, those have different technology, so they do not work with these ones. Yes. Just to know for that. Oh, good morning, RAS. Hi, how are you? Oh, and I have a hat, but look, it's a little bit wrinkled, but I don't know what you think. RAS is always on about me getting a wider brim hat. So I don't know. What do you think? It's not quite the same. It's not quite the same as the traditional, but it is a wider brim. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Okay, Hattie, did I do the bike tour? No, I didn't do the bike tour. And you know why I didn't do the bike tour is because it was raining for almost the whole time that we were there. And when the sun came out, like Christmas Day, the resort looked like it was empty. Truly, truly it did. Now, it might have had something to do with a little visit by this guy, Mr. Sexy Santa. So we knew Santa was coming to the resort. We didn't know it was Sexy Santa. So out comes this pole, in come the dancers, and Sexy Santa comes out and he does this pole dance thing. And as it wasn't tawdry in any way, it was slightly risque. But the resort got really quiet after that. I don't know, I guess everybody was tired. Everybody went back to their room. All the women during the show were texting and posting on social media pictures of this guy doing this sexy dance. It was quite interesting. But no, it was raining, so I didn't do any bike tours, which is unfortunate because I probably would have gone to wherever the cenote is. No, and I don't believe it went off the resort at all, because that would have, there's one access road and then you're on the highway, and ain't nobody going to be smart riding on that highway on a bike. So no, I think it would just stay on the property. But as I say, I didn't do that. No, John. So at the sushi teppanyaki restaurant, no, they're separated completely. So if you're with another couple and you wanted to each do your own thing, one wanted to do the teppanyaki, the other wanted to do the sushi. No, it's not set up for that. Unfortunately, the teppanyaki is on the right hand side of the restaurant when you walk in. And those are set tables and set seating, and they're at a set time. So they can do the whole production of the chopping up the vegetables and flipping the eggs in the air and all that good stuff if you've ever seen those shows before. If you haven't, they're really amazingly entertaining. But yeah, it is very specific and in that one localized area. In the middle of the restaurant is where they have the Pan Asian um, different cooked items. So if you don't like sushi, don't worry. You can still go in and enjoy some delicious Asian meals. One of the women, Judy, you know who you are. She was excited to try to be healthy on this trip and lose a bit of weight. So she was swimming in the pool every day, and she was super excited to try the bok choy salad, which I honestly was very interested in as well. I didn't get a chance to try it because we only ate in that restaurant once. But as I said, the sashimi was literally melt in your mouth, and the sushi was delicious. But it is a sushi bar, and that is the reason why you do need to make reservations. So you're actually sitting right there. Once you've finished your initial order, the guy's asking you if you want, or the woman chef is asking you if you want anything else. So of course, we asked for some more sashimi. I mean, I live in Vancouver. We have fresh fish everywhere, and we have amazing sushi restaurants because we have a huge Asian influence in Vancouver. And honestly, it's as good as any sushi I've ever had here, if not better. Well, free is always better, right? So no, unfortunately, you cannot do the combined thing. Um, However, they're pretty flexible on things. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can. I don't think you can, but you can ask. Why not, right? Yes, good morning, RAS. Hope you are doing well. And Barbara, hey, how are you? Barbara, she actually was a travel agent for, who was it? Fun Jet Vacations for many, many years. They have individual tables at the Asian restaurant with a menu for different fare. Yeah, so that's what I was just sort of saying. They have the teppanyaki on the one side, they've got the sushi on the other side, and the main Asian fusion restaurant in the middle. I don't have a link to the app or the website, but I will include that in the description below. I'll also pin it to the top of the comments. But on there, you can go in and you can actually look at the menu for each and every restaurant and see the different options that they have. John, heard they don't want people having speakers. Keep mine quiet in the room. Oh, yeah. How is the Wi-Fi? We arrived January 28th. Excellent. Less than a month away. In fact, 21 days. Nice. 3 weeks. Yeah, you actually, as with many of the resorts now, when you go into the hotel, the first thing one of the things you have to sign is you get your room contract or whatever, and it usually will say, like, if the rooms are non-smoking, if you do smoke in the room, you agree to pay a damage cleaning fee of $250 US, that kind of thing. But one of the rules that you also had to sign off on was that you're not going to bring any drugs onto the property. I mean, duh. And also that you weren't going to play any speakers in public areas. Now, the soundproofing in the rooms is pretty amazing. In my resort view swim up room, I kind of got blindsided because I did the usual room tour and then I went to open the patio door and I didn't realize there was a guy outside by the pool singing, playing guitar. He was really good, but I forget which song he was singing, but it was like a very common song. It was Elvis Costello or something. And I was like, well, I can't play this on YouTube because I'm going to get a copyright strike. So what was interesting though is until I opened the door, I didn't hear that sound at all. So if you're booking a resort view swim up room or you're in an ocean view swim up room, those are the ones that are on the inside of the U-shaped resort. Any noise that's playing outside, if there's entertainment going on or they get the live music going at Lola's, you're not going to hear it. So I think that's brilliant. So yeah, the speakers, yeah, play it in your room. Sure, no problem. But outside, they very specifically ask you to use headphones. I don't know what much they're policing it, but certainly there was nobody there playing their own music when we were there. And the music that they did have by the pool was, in my opinion, was quite good. It was well rounded. At one point, my husband said, and it was just the two of us in the pool talking, and he's like, "Oh, they need to play some reggae. You know, everybody likes reggae." And it was the weirdest thing, like, nobody was around us, nobody heard this, but but he's just weird like that. Sometimes he can sort of predict these things. I don't know. And, yeah, next thing you know, they're playing reggae, so it's like, "Oh, that's kinda cool." And the Wi-Fi was amazing. I mean, I did 2 live broadcasts while I was there. I was uploading videos, I was downloading stuff for the plane. The Wi-Fi was spectacular. If you're going to be FaceTiming people back home, if you need to do some work and do a Zoom call or anything like that, no problem at all. If you're gonna walk around the resort, yeah, that's where I did lose some connectivity, as you go from the oceanfront rooms around the side to the tropical view. And do I have okay, so these are the tropical view rooms. I'm gonna kill the question there. So this is on the south side of the property. So again, the property is a U shape, and on the north side, you would get morning sun. This is the south side, and as you can, this was later in the afternoon. I think this was around 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you can see that there's some pretty good lighting throughout the rooms here. So you're definitely on the south side going to get more sunshine, and this is the resort view, and this is again on the south side of the property. So on this side, you are going to get the morning sun. If you're wanting afternoon sun, you would get some of that. If you are staying on the north side, tropical view, or sorry, resort view swim up rooms. And again, as I said, there are 10 rooms that are sharing that same pool area, and not a whole lot of privacy in between each balcony area. But I will say that, like I said, well soundproofed rooms, and you actually cannot see in. I mean, unless it's in the evening when you're getting ready and you've only got the shears drawn, and you have your lights on inside the room, then obviously people can see in. But otherwise, if you have the shears drawn across, you cannot see in those rooms at all, which is great. Here's a shot of one of the rooms. I believe this was an oceanfront swim up, but the layout is virtually identical in every room. The size changes a little bit between the tropical view. Those are, oh gosh, I want to say they're about 474 square feet. They're about, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. And then you move into the ocean view rooms. The junior suites on those are 570 square feet, as well as the tropical and resort view swim ups. And then once you go into the oceanfront rooms, those are 678 square feet. So they're a pretty decent size. And this is the paella. So kind of varied, different seafood each day, but fresh scallops and prawns and mussels and all kinds of goodness going on there. Okay, questions going back to this. Apple vacations. Sorry, Barbara. Yes, Apple vacations. Okay, Hattie is asking, can you walk pretty far on the beach? Love a good morning walk. Yeah, you can. Hattie, you said you're going to be there next month, I think. You can, if you go out to the ocean and you head to your left, so that's heading north towards Cancun, you're going to walk past a couple of resorts, and depending on how far in the water is, when it's stormy, when it's rainy, the water comes in farther on the beach. So further on the beach. So farther. So it makes it a little bit difficult to transverse some of the areas. Traverse. Geez, it's like English is my second language today, and I'm not doing very well at it. But you can walk for a good distance on that direction. I think you can probably walk for about 2 or 3 miles if you go to the left or go north. If you go to the right, You can actually walk much farther than you could back when it was Secrets Capri, but it is still limited to about a mile and a half before you're either going to have to choose to walk in the water, and then you're getting closer to the Fairmont Mayakoba Resort. So, there's not a whole lot to see there. There's not a whole lot to see in either direction other than other resorts. But you're not going to come across any bars, beach bars, or anything like that. Mark is arriving February 11th, has a resort view swim up, 2 couples wishing to be side by side. What are the best rooms? Well, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous that you're heading there in a month, for sure. Tropical view, resort view swim ups. I would recommend booking on. I would actually recommend booking on the south side of the property. So again, let me show you the photo. Get rid of the question. Okay, that's these ones. So yeah, again, so you're on the right-hand side of the property on the south side, simply because you have a pretty much completely unobstructed view. You can see I'm at the back, closest to the main building, filming out towards the ocean, and it's difficult to see, but you can see that there is a bit of a view of the ocean from inside the pool, and possibly from your balcony as well. So I would recommend for that to be on the south side. I would recommend closer to the beach. So just ask for, in the south building and as close to the beach as possible. And then you would have much more of a chance of having an actual ocean view from your room. Plus, that's where the stairs go. There is an entranceway into the building there. Could get a little bit noisy at night, but again, as I'm saying, through the balcony door, you can't really hear anything. But that would be where the waiters would be able to access the pool to bring you a beverage. So, pro tip on that one. Okay. Hattie, did I see April? No, I didn't. I can't say that I looked, but I'm certain that they had it at Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun. So if they don't have it, they probably will have it. Again, just a case of getting the supplier stuff sorted out. Yes, worked for Apple Vacations, booked April 15th. Woohoo! Wanted to know if they had karaoke. Yeah, I think they do. I'm not a fan, but I'm just not a fan of karaoke. But yeah, the sports bar is open until 1 a.m. every night. Once Lola Beach gets their license to be able to serve alcohol late, they will also be open until 1 a.m. So, and all the other bars, the lobby bar, etc., are open until 11. So there's always a place where you can get a drink. The sports bar, and again, just to touch on that real quick, the sports bar, they use fire sticks. So you can literally see any sports that you want to see. And it doesn't matter what country it's from, they can access anything. And then right beside that, they have the theater. They usually do a show at 9 o'clock. And then after that, it's more dancing and stuff like that. I was trying to get up early every day to try to catch the sun, which was a challenge in itself. So I didn't stay up super late, but I did hear people at the pool talking about dancing each night. So definitely there's dancing going on, and ergo disco, ergo there would be karaoke. Bathrooms near the pool. There are, yeah, in Lola Beach. So there's one restaurant that's right beside the pool, and there's a bathroom in there. I never used that bathroom. I don't know why. But otherwise, the nearest one would be in the main building. And it's a very small resort. Again, it's 291 rooms, very well laid out. So it's quite compact. And so it's very easy to get to everything. So you're not walking like 5 minutes in order to find a bathroom. Hyatts have always been quite good about that. Can you get cocktails to the room or mimosas? Mimosas for sure. For sure. And at the main buffet, They have plastic glasses, so you can get a mimosa to take with you back to your room. Very civilized. Could you get cocktails to the room? I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, yeah, some resorts definitely no, but this is a Hyatt. I mean, again, I didn't order room service. I should have. I apologize for not doing as much work as I should have, but to research things. But I believe you could. John, we through our agent requested the south side. No guarantees, but what are the chances? Well, I mean, yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't give it to you. I would also send an email to the concierge or go on Facebook and send them a message through there. Send it about a week or two before you go. Don't send it too early. If you send it a month early, they're not even booking the rooms yet. But a week or two ahead of your arrival is when they would be assigning the rooms. So that's when I would send in the request from you. Yes, your agent will take care of you and put those requests in, but it never hurts to send that message through a few times. But yeah. Oh, Dean says yes. So who is that? Hattie was asking about that. Yeah, Hattie, they do have Aperol. There you go. Does the sports bar have a small menu or just some snacks? Okay. So the sports bar had, hi, Jason, I'll get to you in a second. The sports bar had evening snacks. So they had chicken wings, taco chips and salsa kind of thing. It was sort of pre-made snacks at this time. I don't know if that'll change. I suspect it will. It's the same as the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun initially was supposed to have snacks, and they didn't have anything for about the first month or two. And then they did have the a menu of snacks that you could order, similar to Hyatt Ziva Cancun, which of course has its own brew pub. So yeah, just some little snacks in there. Jason's asking, can you get drink service at the oceanfront plunge pool or swim up? Yeah, you can. You probably would need to flag them over to let them know that you are interested in drinks, because it's not an area that they're normally going to be walking past. But yeah, as long as you flag them, then it wouldn't be a problem. So we've reached the end of all our pre-done questions. Let me see if there's any other photos to share with you. And if there's any other questions that you have, please jot them down. So the view of the resort is so pretty at night. The pool would light up different colors. Absolutely beautiful. This picture of the beach. This was the last day that we were there. It was super windy, but at least the sun was out. But as you can see, the water is quite churned up. It was churned up with the sand. There, as you can see on the beach, there's really no seaweed there. But on this day, it was a red flag, and there was a lot of undertow. And so that just pulls all the sand up. So I'm sure 2 days after that, the sand would have been, the beach and the ocean would have been beautiful. When we first got there, I did see people in the ocean, but it's just it depends on the weather and the winds and stuff like that. Here's a shot of those cabanas, and these were all done up. This is, it was this 27th of December, so like 3 days after Christmas. Or 3 days after, 2 days after Christmas, and they had the cabanas done up, and 2 of those were rented, and then there's 3 more on the other side across the way, and then on the other side. So they kind of have the pool split up. It's sort of 2 round circles. One of them was warm, and the other side wasn't so much. And I think part of that was because we were at lower occupancy. It was only about 50% occupancy. And because it had rained all day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the GM actually cranked the heat on the pool. It's gas heated, and it warms up like that. And he said they could have heated it up much more than they did. I stuck my foot in, and it was like bath water. And so Christmas Day, it's yucky, it's overcast, it's raining off and on basically all day long. And think Seattle weather. It was basically like that all day. And people were in the pool, and you could still go up to the swim up bar and get yourself a cocktail, and you were in that nice warm water. People are also using the hot tub quite a bit. So they do have a jacuzzi on property. This is another picture of the front of the resort. Very pretty, very lush. And of course, this is just after reopening and after the construction was completed. So you will see this to grow and grow and grow. It'll look entirely different in a month, in 6 months' time, as the vegetation continues to grow. And then this is another shot of this is the opposite side of the pool where those other cabanas were. And you can see the loungers are very comfortable lounge chairs and cushions on them. So quite enjoyable. This side of the pool is not zero entry. There's a couple of decks, a couple of, you can just behind that cabana on the right, you can just see one of the rails as you enter the pool, and there's another one on the other side. And then on the other pool, which is more of the activities pool, that's where they had a volleyball net set up the whole time. That one is zero entry, so very easy to get in and out of. And I think that's just about it. So let's see if there's any other questions. I don't see any other questions for now. I do answer all of my questions. So like I said, I've done about 15 videos. And if you are enjoying this, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And ding that bell so that you don't miss out on any of them. Where is it? There you go. Subscribe. Yay. Thank you for your support. I do enjoy going to these resorts. No, I don't work for Hyatt, but I just want to share this with you. And we stayed at 2 properties during this trip. We stayed at the Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, but first we stayed at the now Emerald Resort in Cancun, which is actually part of the AM Resorts properties. It was a lovely property. It's definitely in need of a bit of renovations, a bit of TLC. But you are going to see, once I'm finished doing all these videos on the Hyatt, you will see some of the videos of that property as well. So I'm not limiting myself to just Hyatt. It just depends where I'm going. And that's where I'm doing videos on. When is your next trip? That's a really, really good question, Barbara. Actually was taking a look at some deals to Mazatlan. I've never been to Mazatlan. And then they shut down the airport because there was some issues with the cartel. I think they arrested El Chapo's son, and so there was a bit of back and forth on that one. But apparently, as of yesterday, everything was back to normal, and it was fine. I don't get too hung up on that stuff. Here in Vancouver, BC bud, it's a thing, right? So we do have legal marijuana and stuff like that. So we have our own amount of gang activity, as any major city does. So I don't get too hung up on that kind of stuff because it happens everywhere. But I'm thinking that, or Cabo or Puerto Vallarta. I don't know. I mean, there's so many places to go. I'd love to go to Aruba again. But we'll just have to see what's in the cards. But I'm going to guess in the next month or two. And in the meantime, cruise ship season is coming again. And this year, it's basically restriction free. Yay. So I am going to be doing some videos on some of the better properties, the resorts, hotels to stay at in Vancouver. Promise me, if you are going to do an Alaska cruise, which is a totally unique experience. I mean, you can cruise the Caribbean, or you can go to Mexico or Aruba or Bahamas, but cruising to Alaska is completely unique. And Vancouver is, I mean, I don't mean to brag, but it's a beautiful city. There's lots to see and do here. So if you are coming to Vancouver for an Alaska cruise, highly recommend that you book in a couple extra days so you can see places. And explore the city. Mark is asking if I've stayed at excellent resorts and can I compare to Hyatt. I haven't stayed at Excellence. I've toured them and learned all about what they have to offer. I would say it's very comparable. I mean, Hyatt Ziva Zilara's, they're that 5-star level. You can dine around to different properties. If you want to have an appetizer at one, your main course at another, and your dessert at a third restaurant, no problem at all. They do have top shelf alcohol, although, like I said, a little bit weird at this particular property at this point in time about what's included, and what isn't. Um, the service is excellent. Around the resort, you'd hear them trying to learn everybody's name, and it's a smaller property. Again, 291 rooms. So they were trying to get to know each of the guests by name. And then Millie would come screaming at you to come and play volleyball. And volleyball was actually one of the most well participated activities of all. So yeah, I would say definitely comparable. The one experience I recall, so Joel, he was one of the guys by the pool. I think he takes care of the cabanas primarily, and sort of a pool butler, if you will. And so he was making coconut drinks, which you can get with they're coconuts with an insignia on them. It says Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya. So there is a cost to them. I believe it was $11. And you can just have the coconut juice, which is very good for your digestive system, or you could have it with Malibu, which isn't necessarily better for you, but it tastes better and it's part of the fun. And he was walking around cleaning people's sunglasses one day, and then something happened, and he went running past me like full bore. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what's happened? There's something bad. And I turned around and I looked, and I could see this woman. She had been sitting on her lounge chair, and the sun had really come out strong. And she had decided that she wanted to put up her umbrella. So she was trying to do this by herself. Well, Joel was having none of that. So he goes screaming past me, runs over there. He's like, ma'am, please let me take care of this for you. And he puts the umbrella up, whatever. Do you need anything else? Can I get you another fresh towel? Do you need any drinks? Whatever. And she's like, no, I'm good. Thanks. Oh, that's awesome. And it was just, and he just knew, that was just part of his thing. So, don't touch the umbrellas because they want to do it for you. And it wasn't like you're not allowed to. It was just like they don't want you to be put out in any way, shape, or form. So it was kind of a neat little thing. Hattie's asking, is there anything that stood out to me about this resort that was different than the other Zilara's? Yeah. Yes. A lot of people, when they go to Mexico, they get annoyed because they say that all they can find are regular foods. It's not spicy. Pro tip, Lola Beach. Lola's, if you go there for lunch or dinner and you want spicy hot sauce, they'll bring out some spicy hot sauce. But it's not super spicy. And they have some taco chips, which actually have a bit of kick to them, which is interesting. But they also have some habanero sauce, which is super spicy. And at this property, throughout, from the buffet to the different lunch options to dinner options, everything had an overall Mexican theme and taste to it. So, when people complain, well, I went to Mexico and I wanted to have some authentic Mexican food, and the resort had like hamburgers and chips and spaghetti and meatballs and, regular fare that you would get here in North America. At this property, you are going to find that there are a lot more authentic Mexican dishes. I loved the Café de Olla, the Mexican coffee. I never drink coffee at home. So the only time I ever drink it is if I go to Mexico, and I can get this Café de Olla. It's basically coffee boiled in this clay pot with different spices and stuff added to it. This the Mexican coffee at the Hyatt Zilara Riviera was actually the best I've ever had. I didn't like it so much on the West Coast. It's a little bit more tart, but this stuff is sweet. It was absolutely delicious. So was the hot chocolate. And yeah, just a lot of they had mole, mole tarts, mole mousse. It's kind of like that Frank's hot sauce commercial. Like they put that on everything. Mole compound butter. I mean, if anything, like it inspired me to come home and be more creative with my cooking. So yeah, I would say that that was the most significant part of this property is the Mexican flavor infusion into all of the menus. Now, again, if you don't like spicy, no problem. If you're special diet, no problem. If you're gluten free, no problem. If you want to go on a gluten spree, no problem. We didn't get a chance to try the flatbread, but they've got a brick oven there. It smelled heavenly, and I think everybody tried it at least once. I mean, it just looked amazing. So they can accommodate everything, but again, they do have more of a Mexican influence, which is unique and nice to see. So I'm going to call that a wrap for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found this information useful. Again, if you did, please consider giving the video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And do stay tuned. I've got more videos coming out this week on this property. And if you have any questions, do jot them in the comments below the video. I do answer all of the comments and try to answer all your questions. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I will put a link in the description for the resort app where you can see the menus so that for those of you, so many of you who are going there soon, you can start planning your meals and deciding where you want to eat. I hope you enjoy the resort when you go. I certainly did and highly recommend it. And I can't wait to go again once it's been open for 3 or 4 months and everything's kind of, gotten completely sorted out and stuff. But highly recommend it. I had a great time. The staff was brilliant. I just needed some better weather, but the resort can't control that. What can you do? Hey, at least I wasn't stuck at home in the snow. All good. So thanks for tuning in and have yourself a great weekend. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.